Hello, friends. How are you? How's things? Let me know uh, in the comments or email or text or whatever. Just let me know. Let me know how you're doing. I like hearing from you. Yesterday, I talked a good bit about being old or like feeling old or growing old or when is old and that sort of stuff. And I was listening to a podcast today, and this is how old I feel sometimes. I was shoveling the driveway, so I finished shoveling my driveway. At least got my car shoveled out and all that stuff. And while I was doing that, I was listening to this podcast, and they said something, and I was like, "Oh, that's a perfect topic for today." And I have absolutely no clue what that was. I re-listened to the podcast, and it still didn't inspire anything. So I have, in that moment, I had a moment, and I was like, "Oh, that's perfect." No clue what it was. That's old, right? That's feeling old. But it did. There was something else in that podcast I'd like to talk about, and that is self-reflection, because there was a good bit of discussion about just like self-realization and self-reflection, which I think is something that there's a lot of people in my life, at least, that they're incapable of it, or they're not willing to do it, and or they just aren't aware that self-reflection is a way to grow. It's been kind of my entire thing for the last 9 years that we've been doing this show. Self-reflection has been a huge part of my personal growth in my life over the last decade. And last year, so 10 months ago, I looked it up. I believe it was in March last year. I told you that I had been doing a meditation. I've been using a meditation app called Healthy Minds. I highly recommend it. If you've never done meditation, taking the Healthy Minds course is a really, really good way of learning about meditation and learning different techniques to meditate. Absolutely. It's 100% free. They do eventually kind of start asking, hey, do you want to donate? Like, your donations are how we keep this thing going and keeping it free. But it's called Healthy Minds. It's an app. You do like 10, 15 minutes a day. You're good, right? I used the app last year because I have long said that I'm a meditator, and I am. And I've said that I meditate every day. I actually think that's true. And I think that the Healthy Minds app, I spoiler alert, I did not do it for the entire year last year. I would say I made it at least 6 months before I started missing days. So I did a full solid 6 months every day doing my Healthy Minds, and probably maybe even longer than that. But I did not do it every day, and by the end of the year, I was not using the Healthy Minds app at all. And the reason is, once you realize that self-reflection is a form of meditation, and if you are a critical thinker and you self-reflect on a daily basis, you're already doing all of the guided meditations that are a part of this thing. They're simply like gratitude. Let's think about gratitude today. Let's think about a time when something happened that you feel grateful for and how that changed your life. And you should be doing that regardless. And so if you've never been a self-reflector, if you've never been a critical thinker and really thought about your impact on the world, your impact on the people around you, I think the Healthy Minds method is a good way to learn some of those techniques. Learn, what should you be thinking about? Should I be thinking about this time? Because maybe you're thinking about things that are harmful to you or harmful to those around you that are not progressing you towards a better self, if that's what you're seeking. And I realized that by the end of the year, that like this app is really teaching me things that I do on a very regular basis. I can say I meditate every day because I do self-reflection every single day. I sit and think about how I'm doing, where am I at, what am I, I do the grounding techniques of what do I see, what do I smell, what do I hear, what can I touch, whatever. I do that stuff constantly. And so setting aside these 20 minutes or 15 minutes or whatever, it was just kind of like, I'm already doing this. I already did this today, whatever. And it became just kind of tedious. But it's important. It's very important. I would encourage you, if you've never meditated and you think that meditation is some sort of like sacred ritual that involves sitting up straight in an uncomfortable position for hours, it's not. It's none of that. Download the app. Give it a try. Download any app, honestly. Headspace, I tried Headspace, I didn't like it very much. There are other apps that are just like meditative sounds. You can just listen to those. But I specifically picked this one because it is more of a reflective meditation. It's an active meditation where you're thinking about things, and you're turning over ideas and looking at them in different ways. The kind of the director of the app, there's a couple different people you can choose to listen to. I just stuck with the base guy. His name is Court. It teaches you, or he gives you like, let's look at it from this person's perspective instead of your own. And maybe that's something that you haven't learned to do on your own, or nobody's ever asked you in a way that made you consider somebody else's point of view. So I can say that I did not succeed in completing the Healthy Minds course. I did not complete it. There's probably still 20 or 30 lessons to go that I never finished. I might someday finish them. Nowadays, when I walk, I was doing it. First, I was doing it in the mornings, but my exercises kind of took that slot. That's part of it. Like, how much time do I have to say, all right, the first 2 hours of my day are exercising, meditating, whatever. Like, that's too much, right? So then I started doing it during my walk. There's active meditations where you can you can tell it I'm doing something right now, and he'll kind of tailor the lesson for an active type of meditation. So I was doing it during the walk. And now I just put on some like dreamy ambient music, and I just walk and I let my mind go and I reflect. I would just reflect. I think it's a really important skill. So I encourage you to learn it. Give it a try. Give it a month. Say, I'm going to do this for a month and see what happens. And then come back and let me know. Thank you for being here. Please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Please leave a comment or text me or email me or do all three. I appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow. Today's 1,000 plus little things happy, successful people do differently. We are learning 12 things to know before letting go. Number 2, not everyone and not everything is meant to say. Some circumstances and people come into our lives just to strengthen us or teach us so that we can move on without them. There's a lot of friendships that I reflect on that I really wish I had maintained. But I also recognize that I needed that friendship in that moment. And so did that person. And we both got something, and it's okay to let it go, because if they're not coming back, we both got what we needed out of that. And that's okay. Give yourself some grace.